Hi, my name is Hilary from Blueprints. I am the 2Gen coordinator, and today for my heart-to-heart interview, I have Jill. Jill, would you mind telling me about a little bit what you do at Blueprints?
Sure. Yes, my name's Jill, and I coordinate the RSVP program, which is Retired and Senior Volunteer Program in Greene County.
Wonderful. So, what do your volunteers do?
So our volunteers do many different activities in Greene County. They range from delivering home-delivered meals, or Meals on Wheels, as people might know it. They do grocery delivery. They do telephone reassurance, where volunteers call on our elderly clients who live alone, just as a telephone check-in, make sure they're doing okay. Some of our volunteers help at the VITA sites at the Waynesburg office. And we have one volunteer who assists us with a financial literacy class, and he talks about how to prevent financial scams and fraud.
So where do your volunteers volunteer at?
So it kind of depends on what the volunteer does. For instance, for the financial literacy class, that volunteer actually goes into community rooms at senior housing or the senior centers and does his classes. The VITA volunteers would, of course, assist at the VITA site, which is the Waynesburg office. Our home delivered meals and grocery people, they would actually, the home delivered meal drivers would pick up the meals at the senior centers and deliver it to the clients' homes. And similar to the grocery deliveries, the grocery delivery volunteers pick up at the grocery store and deliver it to the client's home. And then the telephone reassurance callers, that's strictly at home. The volunteer volunteers from home. That's not an in-person contact.
Okay, so how many volunteers do you need?
We could use some additional volunteers for our home delivered meals program, especially from the Carmichael's Senior Center for that area. So we could definitely use, like 5 or 10 more volunteers from that center.
So what are the requirements to being a volunteer?
So I'd say the most important things that a volunteer or potential volunteer can have is a willingness to help out people and to be a part of your community. So specifically for the RSVP program, the volunteers to take advantage of some of the tangible benefits like mileage reimbursements and so forth, they have to be 55 or over. But in general, yeah, I would say just a willingness to help out.
Okay, so what are the benefits or reasons to volunteer?
There's many benefits to volunteering, especially for the retiree age. It's a way to transition into retirement. It gives you purpose. It gives you something to do. It gets you out and about. There's numerous studies that talk about the health benefits of volunteering. Depression rates are lower for folks who volunteer. Just general overall health is better, and you're better well-being if you volunteer. So there's a lot of good reasons to volunteer.
Yeah, I would say so too. So how many hours a day would a volunteer have to have?
Again, it's like the question about the location of where they volunteer. It kind of depends on what the volunteer does. So I have some phone callers, for instance, who might call their person every single day and they talk for half an hour. But then we might have some telephone reassurance callers who just check in once a week. So it kind of varies. Same with like Meals on Wheels. It could be that someone does it once every other week, which would just be a couple hours in the morning. And then we have some volunteers who do it, 2-3 times a week. So it varies.
Wonderful. So has COVID-19 affected the volunteering at all?
Yes, it has. And March and April, of course, and maybe somewhat into May, we had to limit the contact that our volunteers were having with our participants. So we had a much, much smaller core group that was continuing to deliver the meals. But now luckily, our volunteers have been wonderful. They've all come back to help us on a more regular basis now that we're up and running 5 days a week again. Also, I'd say another thing that has changed is the demand in our services has, of course, increased. I'm sure that it's probably agency-wide. So as the service needs increase, our demand for more volunteers, goes up as well. It goes hand in hand.
Right. So if somebody was interested in becoming a volunteer, how would they contact you?
They could gladly contact me they could contact me by email or by my phone. Should I give those?
Would you mind providing your email?
Yes, it's jpeth@myblueprints.org.
Wonderful. So also, if they want to reach out to the agency's email, they could contact my info at myblueprints.org. And there's also some information about our volunteers on our website. So Jill, I just wanted to thank you today for telling us about your volunteer program, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Hilary.